Hey, welcome to the Engage and Equip podcast. We're doing a series as we prepare for our summer serve. And so I am here. I am Adam Darbone. I'm the executive pastor at High Point Church. I'm here with Bethany Demoto, our early childhood director. And we're going to talk a little bit about KidsMin.
We sure are.
So Bethany, tell us a little bit about KidsMin. Maybe start with the mission and vision.
Yeah, totally. So the mission and vision of High Point is to make substantive disciples of Jesus through gospel connection, growth, and service. But these disciples that we are training are very small. So our mission and vision in KidsMin is that we really focus on three words. We focus on belong, believe, and become. And those are the main pillars that we are really trying to build the ministry off of. So belong is that we want kids to know that they belong to Jesus, that God made them, that he loves them, that they're a part of this church, they're a part of his family. We want them to believe that Jesus was real, that he came and he died for them and rose again. And we want them to also believe that the Bible is real and living and applies to their life. We want them to become resilient disciples.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's great. That's what we're after. Okay, so talk a little bit about like the people you see or the people you should know about if you're thinking about kids ministry.
Yeah. If you didn't know, on part of this building, there's like a gym and classrooms. You'd be surprised how many people are like, we have a gym? Yeah, over on the other side of the building.
Just wait till you tell them we have an elevator.
I know, right? I'll blow everybody's mind. But KidsMin lives sort of over there. And on staff, we have Gwen Schrader, who's our kids ministry director. And she is the big kahuna that oversees all of the ministry. But on a Sunday morning, her primary focus is on elementary school, which we call Kids Celebration. And so she does all of the coordinating and curriculum and planning for that. And then myself, I'm the early childhood coordinator. So think early childhood. That would include nursery, and then it would also include through preschool age. So we have the nursery, which is for infants. And then once kids have turned 2 by September 1st, we do like a whole move up Sunday. And then there's a 2s, 3s, and 4s class. We also have Sarah Binning, who is our nursery Sunday service lead. And so she just works on Sundays, and she is the face of the nursery on Sundays, doing hospitality for families and working with volunteers and just making sure that all the babies have what they need in the nursery.
Because if you haven't been around High Point Church for a little while,
there's a lot of babies.
There's a lot of babies. And more and more.
The nurseries are busy and super, super fun. But yeah, job security isn't really an issue right now.
Yeah, the replacement rate on the nursery seems to be high.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And then Heather is our kids ministry administrator. So she does the scheduling. She also helps with special projects, admin stuff, and is the most optimistic person I've ever met. And we also
you may not see her. You may never see her.
You may never see her, but she will send the nicest messages.
Yes, if you work in kids ministry, you will get emails from her and messages from her and phone calls from her and that sort of thing.
Yeah, she's amazing. And then we also have interns. So right now we have Taylor Koenig is our part-time youth and kids ministry intern, and she's helping out with KidsMin, but that also changes. So we have different interns at different times, and their roles kind of vary depending on what it is.
Yeah. Well, most interns that we have on our staff, even if they're not interested in kids ministry, 100%. We try to put them into kids ministry, at least some during their internship. Because we think it's really critical. And if they're going to end up in ministry vocationally, there's almost no job in vocational ministry where you don't need to know something about KidsMin.
Well, knowing about children in general is a life skill. Right. And then being able to talk with a child is also really valuable.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, great. So those are the people, those are the spaces we've got in the nursery. We've got a couple of additional spaces. We've got the Haven, which is like babies.
The nursery is kind of broken up into 3 main units. So if you're like, I want to serve in the nursery could mean you could float around to different rooms, or you have some people that are like, I just really love hanging out with toddlers. So our Haven space is for kids that are not yet confident crawlers. Those are going to be really little babies.
They're not moving much.
They're
not traveling far when they move.
Right. It's really slow.
Yeah.
Sometimes a roll. And they have probably the calmest room in the church. It has like dim lighting and it's very relaxing in
It's
there.
very relaxing and peaceful in there, unless they're crying. But
it's also called the black hole sometimes,
Yeah.
where like you're in there with a baby. You're like, have I been here for 1,000 years, or have I been here for 10 minutes?
yes, there are no windows.
There's no windows.
It's cinder block walls.
It's very soothing. And we actually have a lot of people that like to serve in there as a date day. I have couples that will serve in there and like hold babies. You can have wonderful conversations with each other and
That's so
enjoy
fun.
hanging out with babies. Why not?
Totally.
And then once they are confident crawlers, they go to our movers room because they are now moving.
Yep.
And they're there until they're confident walkers. So the movers room is, if you're looking at the nursery counter, it's going to be the one to the right. And then the one to the left is our toddler room. Once you are confident walkers, and I define that as an overly enthusiastic friend has knocked you over. Can you resiliently stand back up and continue moving on? Or do you break down in despair? And if you can move on, then you are ready for the toddler room.
There you go.
And then the toddler room is usually our busiest room, particularly at springtime this time of year, because the 2-year-olds kind of stack up. And then in September, we have our move up Sunday.
Yeah.
And then they all move up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. All right, so let's talk about
We're
process here
going to
of-
try and break some myths of like what happens in kids ministry, and also what is it like to have a kid in kids ministry. So Adam, you're a parent.
I am. Sure
of
am.
3 children.
3 young kids.
Yeah.
Yep.
And all of your kids are in nursery or early childhood.
That's right. Yep.
So
Yep. I've got one in the 4s class. I've got one in the 2s class, and then I've got one right now in the toddler room.
Mhm.
So, but they've all moved through. Well, my oldest was started in the 2s class, I think, and then has moved up into the 4s. The other 2 we've moved through the classes. So
as a parent, walk us through from your point of view, what is it like on a Sunday to bring your kids to KidsMin?
yeah, it's great. So we walk in the doors, find one of the kiosks. There's kiosks in a few different places where you can check in. You can also, the newest thing is that you can check in on your phone on the app before you even get there, which is pretty sweet. Actually, personally, I really like
It
that.
sounds silly,
It
and
sounds
like, does it
just
save
silly.
you time when you have more than one kid and they might be staying for multiple services? It saves you time.
Yeah, and saves you the stress of like you're trying to type in something on the computer while they're running the other way.
Running down the hall.
Yeah. So you check in.
Yeah.
When you check in, it prints your tags, and so you rip them off. I slap them on the backs of my kids.
Excellent.
So each of my kids gets one tag, and then it also prints off a label for my wife and I that we usually rip in half, and one of us gets one
Great.
because it's got 2 with the number that matches the number on our kids.
And now that'll be in the
And
app
now it's on
So,
the
like,
app too. I know. Now I don't even have to have.
copy.
I can't tell you how many times I put on jeans and I find
it in your pocket.
find it in my
later
pocket,
on.
yeah, or find a laundered one in
yeah,
my
that is
pocket.
the worst.
It's just
There's
it's
no way to
constant.
get
But now I
around
won't
that.
have to do that because it'll just be
That's
on my
true.
phone. It's gonna be so great.
That's true.
So yep, and then I go around and I drop my kids off to each section
Mhm.
or each classroom, and there's somebody waiting for me usually.
Yep.
I have to sign them in for the nursery
Yeah, for the
my nursery kids. I
nursery.
sign them in, check that they're there, and then drop them off. The other ones I just kind of let go, and now they're at the point where they just kind of go racing in. There were stretches with my kids where it was a lot of coaxing and convincing.
Everyone goes through a season. It's just like
Yep.
remind parents, like, you're not going to go to kindergarten with your kids.
Yes, and
gonna be fine.
what I found, what I've learned in my having children is that the best thing to do is to just like throw them and run. It's like just get them in there. The longer I delay it and the more I try to help them not
That's true.
feel sad, the longer they tend to feel sad once they're in there. So
That's
usually what happens is I drop them off, and if I drop them off screaming, even if I come back in like 3 or 4 minutes to just kind of check because I'm a nervous parent, I don't do
They're
that.
fine.
I don't do that anymore. But I have done that in the
Sure,
past,
yeah.
and they're fine. They're like having a
They're
great
having
time.
a great time.
Yeah. So drop them off. Go to service. Have a great time. There's a number up on the screen that'll flash.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. If something is needed, then then there's that number. But generally that is not an issue. And then and then after service, I come back, I show my tag. I have to have my tag.
Sure
and
do.
it's funny, like I'm the executive pastor here. So I'm sort of like every Sunday school teacher's boss's boss. And they will be like, if you don't have your tag, we're not giving your kid back.
We use you as an example.
It's
in
great.
The onboarding, we're like,
I didn't know that actually.
We're like, if Adam Darbone comes to pick up his children and doesn't have the security tag, you cannot take him, even if you know who Adam is and you know that this is his child.
Yep. It's great. It actually, I mean, it is comforting.
We used to say Nick, and that was like not applicable because his kids were all out of KidsMin. Where now we're like, all right, got to pick one of the pastors whose kids are.
It is comforting though, both as a parent, because I know that kid's not getting out any other way, and as an executive pastor, because I know we're not going to lose any kids.
Right.
So that's really great. Yeah, so I come, I show my tag. The teacher will look at my tag, look at the number on my kid's back, double check it, make sure it fits. Then they hand me a take-home sheet of kind of what the kid learned in the lesson. There's often a craft that they also that the kid also gets to show me that they did, and then we take off.
And the cool thing about the take-home sheets is it shows, yes, what we learned about that day, and it has a coloring page that we don't do in class. That's something that you could do later on at home. But there's 2 QR codes on each one of the take-home sheets for this curriculum that we're using, which is called Bright Curriculum. It's put out by Awana. And one of the QR codes is a link to a video that goes along with the lesson and some like discussion questions. We don't do that in class. We have live teaching. We have a teacher teaching and not the video for our early childhood classes, but we encourage families to do that video at home because then it kind of is another repetition for kids of what they learned about, and then they can color in the picture. And then the other QR code is a playlist that is updated each month to 2 months that we put out for early childhood families that includes the song of the month. Each month is a different song that goes with the curriculum, and it's a lot of 90s bangers. Let's be real. I'm choosing the song, but it's like 90s KidsMin songs from my childhood and also some things that are more current. And we try and fit something that goes with the unit, and the kids learn it all month. So at the beginning of the month, we're all very confused. At the end of the month, we are song professionals.
Yeah. So. My middle child is my artistic one, and he is the one who
he's like, give me the coloring page.
Well, yeah, and the songs. He wants to just he's my singer. He'll just sing, and
I love the kids that just confidently are like, I'm not doing any of the moves. I'm just gonna dance.
I'm just gonna dance. Yeah.
What would you say has been the biggest impact that you've seen with kids and volunteers as a parent, like watching your kids going into the class and the relationships that they've formed? What's like one takeaway you've had?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been really fun to watch them grow. Like it's great. Like for me as a parent, I want them to come and learn the Bible and like start to take these stories to heart and understand something about like I have to have faith, or I can trust God. God is bigger than my problems, or like whatever the particular things are. But for me, I mean, it's really the relationships that they've built with the adults in the room. I mean, it's been really fun to see. I mean, they'll come home and they'll talk about them. We often see their teachers like just in church around. Life, right? Like we go to the feast or the congregational meeting or the whatever event is happening at church, and their teacher will just be there, and they have this really fun relationship with them that for me is really cool to see, because those are the kinds of relationships that I know are going to make faith last, because it's real people who aren't their parents, which right now doesn't matter so much, but will matter. And they know it's the whole belong thing. Like they know they belong to this family, right? To this larger group of people.
Yeah, like the most recent Barna study said that it's not even. It used to be like 3 people who have a strong faith that are pouring into your child in order to help them have a sustaining faith, and to create connection with the church. Now it's like 1.
Yeah.
Like if you have one person who truly knows your child and is encouraging them in the faith, that can make a huge impact in their life.
Parent, yeah.
Yeah, that's not a parent. Absolutely. Well, great. You also, as a parent, receive the Kids Ministry newsletter.
I sure do every week, and I read it every week.
That's right. And we put all sorts of important stuff in there. That is for all ages.
Mm-hmm.
So the KidsMin newsletter, sometimes you're like, I don't have a kid in the gym. How come the kids in the gym get to have ice cream and I'm getting an email about it? Is this just to make me sad that I don't get ice cream? No, it's because it goes to everybody. And there's helpful resources in there. A lot of times we put information about parent trainings. We'll put information about sometimes podcasts or articles that we thought were really beneficial. Gwen always has lots of encouraging things that she puts in that, in addition to like Sunday logistics.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a whole team called the KidsMin Family Planning Team that does like, the family team does events. They are all volunteer run, and they do a couple events a year to really encourage community within the KidsMin community, and it's great.
Yeah.
It's all going to be advertised in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really great resource. There's also the coolest thing about the KidsMin email that I thought was the coolest when I first got here was there's a list of babysitters that you can access.
Cool. You have to request
it.
Yeah.
But you don't just get the list. You have to request the list. But
yep.
you request it through the KidsMin email. That's great.
That's true.
Yeah.
We're always looking for more babysitters to go on the list.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So from a teacher standpoint or a volunteer standpoint, in the nursery or in early childhood, what does that look like?
If you are a current volunteer or if you're interested in being a volunteer, here's kind of how it works in a nutshell. When people are interested, we usually direct them to the application. That's all done online. And then that sends them to a background check. So all of our volunteers that are serving on the KidsMin team are background checked. And then that is followed up by an onboarding interview. Now, if it's nursery and early childhood, that would be with myself. If it is for our Awana ministry or for Kids Celebration, which is elementary school, that's going to be with Gwen. And so in that onboarding interview, we share testimonies. We talk a little bit about the mission and vision of KidsMin, kind of like what we're doing now. And then we also go through our handbook. So that includes all of the safety information that you might need to know, where first aid kits are, what to do if there's some kind of emergency, and also logistics of like, what time do you show up on a Sunday morning and things like that. And following that, we talk about the schedule. We use Planning Center here at High Point. So I typically show people how Planning Center works, how they can put in dates to block out when they're going to be on vacation, things like that. So that's kind of the onboarding process. Then you get a name tag with your own face on it. Now, send a picture. We will try and Facebook stalk you. And those pictures may not be the one you want. On an actual Sunday morning, we ask that everybody they're all invited to come to our huddle meeting, which is at 8. The huddle is a meeting that's all KidsMin volunteers that could be serving on that Sunday. Mm-hmm. Whether you serve first or second service, whether you're in the nursery or with 4th and 5th graders, we're inviting you to come and be encouraged. We do usually some form of devotional. If Gwen's gone, I usually make everybody sing and do motions. And then we will have a time to pray for the families that are coming, the kids that are coming to our class. And sometimes there's logistics on like today's communion. Things might run a little bit longer, things like that.
Yeah.
We also do routine trainings throughout the year. Engage and Equip, we would encourage volunteers to go to. And then we also have some additional trainings as things come up that we do. We have a big annual training in August every year, and that is a big hoopla and super fun party, which is great.
Yeah, that's great. And one of the things I love about kind of just this whole process and what it reveals is that when you come to serve in kids ministry at High Point Church, you are not just doing childcare. We're not looking for warm bodies. We're not looking right. That this is a ministry of the church. We are, as a church, partnering with parents to build disciples in their earliest years. And that requires things like training and safety and background checks and all those sorts of things, right? Like the process is robust for a reason because we're doing something that is robust. Yeah.
And we want people to see this as a commitment and a responsibility and to be a part of the team. And I think if you have more information and you're more equipped and you understand your role, then it's easier when you're in the moment on a Sunday morning to relax and have fun because you're not like, oh no, what are we learning about today?
Right.
What happens if a child has to go to the bathroom? Like we've discussed all of these things and we know, and now we're just in it having a good time.
Yep. Loving kids.
Loving kids.
Yeah.
Just great.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, let's talk about some of the myths that people have
Yes.
When it comes to serving in kids ministry.
There's many. All right. Myth 1. Go ahead.
All right. Myth 1. I have to work with kids professionally to volunteer, or I have to have kids to volunteer.
Yeah, that's not true.
I'm not good with kids.
That's not true. We just recently had somebody who told me, like, I signed up to be in kids ministry, and my first thought was, oh no, what did I do? And he's like, the word helper that was listed as like room helper after my description maybe was not applicable because I didn't feel very helpful. I was scared of children. But you do not have to have experience with kids because this could be your experience with kids, whether you don't have to have kids and you also don't have to work with kids professionally. We have people from all different professions and all different ages. Now you have to be over 12 in order to volunteer without a parent, and then you don't count to our safety ratios until you're 16, which is fine. We like having junior helpers to come and be in class, but we also really love having people whose kids are out of the house. We love having people who maybe work super boring desk jobs during the week. You're like, dang, I just want to play with Play-Doh on a Sunday morning and sing songs with kids about Jesus. Great. We'd love to have you. Please come. And we also have quite a few couples that will come and serve together or will rotate serving. So it's kind of a mixed bag of who's there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I always say, like, in some ways you can't just have anyone serving kids ministry, and yet anyone can serve in kids ministry.
Correct.
And even if you're not, like, you think, oh, I'm not good with kids or I don't have very much experience with kids, you can actually get experience with kids.
Yeah.
Kids in all of human history, people had experience with kids. They just, you were around kids. You helped raising kids. You were a kid once. It's not as hard as you think it is.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the more you see they're just little people with their own personalities, and you can build relationships with them, and it's really fun. And so, like, I think, there's so many benefits to this. I've told you this before. Like, so before I was a pastor, before I went into vocational ministry, I served in starting in middle school. I served in the nursery and then the preschool Sunday school class, and I taught preschool Sunday school all the way through college, actually, at my church, and I loved it. Yeah. It was a blast, and I could do it when I was 12, and I could do it when I was better when I was 18 or 22.
You also had more experience,
but I also had more experience and whatever. But it was really great. And so this is a great way. Like, if you're a parent of a preteen or teenager, like, this is actually a way you could serve as a family that can be really impactful and really fun. If you are, like, either not yet married or a young married couple that doesn't have kids yet, you should be serving in kids ministry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because getting some time around other people's kids is actually really important.
People get a little bit worried when they're like, oh no, am I going to have to teach the class? And one thing to note is that for all the way in, we start with a Bible. We have our big Bible time in the toddler room. And it's like, what did God create? We go through different things that God creates. There's a script on the back. Yep. And so you hold up the picture and then it tells you what to say. So if you're like, what am I going to say? Yep. It tells you what to say. And then it's the same deal for early childhood. You could go through the lesson and we ask that people read it and they prepare to know what we're talking about. But on the story cards, there's also a script on the back. So if you get nervous, you're like, how would I phrase this? It's there for you.
Yep. Yeah. And Bethany is there for you. 100%. And we've got one of the things I tell people often, especially if they're newer to faith or maybe they're not newer to faith or church, like they've been around, but they don't feel like, how sometimes you get in a room with somebody and you're like, I should know their name by now, but I definitely don't. But it's way too late to ask because it's going to be awkward if I ask.
The same thing happens with Old Testament Bible stories.
Yeah, the same thing happens with the faith. Like, it's like all these concepts, all these stories. It's like people they've been coming to church for like 10 years and they're like, okay, but I don't actually know any of this stuff. And I can't ask now because people assume I know. It's going to be awkward if I ask. Just serving kids ministry.
Yeah.
You will get to teach all the stuff. It will all be right there for you.
Right.
You'll learn it while you're teaching it. You'll learn it better because you're teaching it, and it'll be great. It is actually, doing kids ministry is a great way to get the basics and the doctrine of the Christian faith, because that's what we're teaching these kids.
That's what we're teaching these kids. And we're asking that you have a heart for Jesus, you have a heart for his church, and his church includes these kids. And so having kids come and teach is really
actually, when I was a youth pastor, this is a little different, because I was working with kids that were older. They were middle school and high school. But I made the mistake early in my youth pastor career of I had volunteers who would come to me and just go, oh, I just really love the Bible. I really want to teach the Bible. I'm really excited. And I'd be like, oh yeah, come serve. And what I found is a lot of times I had to end up firing those volunteers or having, or like really working hard. Those were like my worst volunteers. Not because it was bad that they loved the Bible. It was great that they loved the Bible. But what I actually needed was people who loved high school students and middle school students, and who could then take the Bible to, and because they loved them, they would apply the Bible to their life. This is that, like, you don't have to know the Bible backwards and forwards to serve in kids ministry. You have to be able to love kids.
Yes.
And because you love kids, you want to share the Bible with them, and we will give you all the resources. And if you're like, I don't know, I'm not trained, that's what all the trainings are for that you just talked about, right? Like, that's what we will help you. We will teach you and equip you on how to do it.
It's possible to love kids even if you're slightly confused and terrified by them. One would argue that is most love.
Yeah, I mean, again, I did middle school ministry for a long time, and
you were probably
every volunteer I ever had was confused and terrified by middle school. If you're not confused and terrified by middle schoolers, something's wrong with you. So, and yet you can do really amazing ministry with them. So, yeah. All right. The second myth is I have to serve every week.
No, you don't have to serve every week, but we do ask for consistency. So our expectation is that you will either serve twice a month or you will serve every week. And if it's a twice a month, we ask that you pick like a consistent pattern. Usually it's every other week, or I have people that are like, hey, I work on the first and third Sunday for my job. Can I
second and fourth?
Second and fourth. Yeah. It is really hard to feel like you're a part of the team when you only serve once a month.
Yeah.
We do have some people that have that scheduled, but in terms of the connection that you are able to make with the kids and the connection that you are able to have with the ministry, we want people to take on this also as a responsibility. I cannot hold the whole ministry on my own. Gwen can't hold the whole ministry on her own. That shouldn't really be our job as staff. Our job as staff should be to equip the volunteers to really take ownership of this ministry and to be consistent and being pouring into the kids, because I'm one person. I cannot be in all the classrooms, and I shouldn't be. It should be the body of the church that's coming along these kids and loving them and teaching them.
Yeah, and again, because part of our ministry model is relational. Like we have a high value on relationships. It's really hard to build relationships once a month.
It sure is.
And because especially if once a month you serve once a month, but like that kid misses a month, now you haven't seen him for 2 months. And you see him 12 times in a year, and you're expecting to have like a significant relationship with them where they feel loved and like they belong and safe with you. Like that's not realistic. And so, we want you to serve either every week or every other week. Right. And then we want you to serve, like, if you commit to every other week or that kind of thing, like serve the Sundays you say you're going to serve.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Don't just serve. Like, if you say you're going to work the second and fourth Sundays of the month,
and then you're like, oh no,
plan your vacations on the first and third Sundays of the month.
Right. Yeah. And we do have people that are subs, and they are extremely helpful and so valuable. We could not survive without having a solid group of people that are subbing. But it is far better to have consistent people in the classroom and then like one person show up as a sub once or twice a month, rather than that be the norm of like. Well,
and I'll just tell you, as a parent of young kids, I mean, that consistency is so critical.
That can make or break whether your kid walks in the door.
Yeah, when my daughter knows. Sean Helwig is there, and he's there to, like, she is much more willing to go in there than when my middle one knows Taylor D'Souza's in the class. He just runs right in, right? And when it's somebody new, we just had this. We just went to swim lessons, and it was a sub teacher, and it was like my second kid, who doesn't love swim lessons,
was like, I'm out.
Was like, I'm not going anywhere near the pool, right? And it's that consistency, it's that relationship that actually makes all the difference. For those kids, especially in the early childhood age.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, here's another myth. 2-year-olds are scary.
Yeah, that's not true. I mean, 2-year-olds are cute. They are so fun. They're the kids say the darndest things.
Yeah.
I have a 2-year-old now. My youngest is now 2, and so now I've had 3 different 2-year-olds in my house, and they've all been different. 2-year-olds are so much fun. This is why I taught preschool Sunday school, because it was in the church I was in. It was 2 and 3-year-olds, and I loved it. They're so funny. They're so earnest.
They are so earnest,
and they are like little sponges. Like, they want to know, and they think you are so fun. If you'll just be a little bit silly, they think you're hilarious.
We sing a song called "The Bible Is for Me" in the 2s class, and we always sing it regular first, because some people might not know the song.
Yeah,
and then it gets a little silly. And this is my favorite time of year, where everybody now has an opinion on what kind of silly they want to do. So I'm like, okay, how should we sing it now? Everyone's like, underwater, really fast, really fast. And everybody has an opinion. And you're like, well, this is great. You're all very invested. And we all also know the song, "The Bible Is for Me," and that we can stand upon the word of God. But, we're going to sing it silly too, because it's the 2s class.
Yep. Yeah, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, fun. And I would say one of the other myths is that babies are scary. Babies aren't scary. They cry sometimes.
Babies are not scary.
It's fine.
And I think people are mostly scared of the poop and potty training situations at 2-year-old. But you're only with them for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Like, the odds that a kid is going to have to go to the bathroom, not always very high. And we have a lot of very cautious parents that are like, I've taken them right before. I'll take them right after.
Yeah, I mean, we always make our kids go right before.
Right.
Right
That's
after.
just parenting. That's great.
Yep.
So I would not stress about that. If you're scared of potty training, that's not your job. You're teaching them about Jesus.
Yep.
Okay. Why don't kids just come into the sanctuary?
For multiple reasons. I mean, the main one is the teaching and pedagogy in the sanctuary is not built for them. It's built for adults whose brains are fully developed and developed differently than kids are. The whole point of kids ministry is that we're teaching the truths of the Bible in a way that is developmentally applicable to them.
See, that's why you answered that question. I wouldn't have used the word pedagogy, but that was
right. So
that's very succinct. It's true. It's true.
I believe there is value in having your kids in church.
Yeah.
Because we want them to eventually transition to being in church regularly. So we want them to see worship. We want them to see sermons. Right. We want them to see. But the idea that they're going to get formed and shaped as disciples in the same environment that an adult is.
Yeah.
And that it's crazy. We wouldn't think to do that in any other environment.
And the idea that they're only receiving those things if they're inside of the sanctuary is really the myth to bust.
Sure.
Because we are doing worship in early childhood. They're doing worship in the gym and kids celebration. We are worshiping in the nursery. We're just singing songs to the babies. They're not singing with us. And we are having a sermon. Our sermon is just our Bible story, and it's written in a way that is developmentally appropriate for the age of kids that are there. And then our application is a craft, where we are talking more about the story. And there is always, we call it our bright idea for the curriculum, that there's a bright idea that goes with each lesson of like, this is God's truth for you. And we say that together at the end of each lesson. We call it our he, our we, and our me. So it has the bright idea written from like, what is this story teaching us about God? And we point up, we do our he. What is this story teaching us about us as his church? Point to each other with the we. What is this story teaching us about me? And we really are cementing that like these Bible stories that kids are learning about are teaching us something about God, about the church, and about us that we can apply. The same way that if you're in the sanctuary, you're going to be learning something about the Lord through his word. You're going to be learning something about how it applies to us as his body of believers. And I'm hoping that you're taking something personally that you need to identify in yourself.
Yep. Yeah. That's so good. And it's in the sanctuary, it's often much more complicated and much less concrete because
it's not made for them.
Right. Because adults can think abstractly and kids just can't. That literally that part of their brain is not developed.
Right.
And so, yeah.
Yep.
We think it's valuable. We do have certain times of the year where we'll have kids come into the sanctuary
Totally.
for different things like baptisms, or we do a communion Sunday every year where we have kids, and we try to teach specifically to families in those environments.
And like, we get it. There's like drums and fun worship. So we actually have teachers, particularly in our 3s and 4s rooms when they're a little bit bigger, that bring the kids into the balcony for like the last song, especially if there's a baptism and then a last song, because that's a celebration. We're all celebrating right there, and they get so excited.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Oh boy. This last minute.
All
really
right, Bethany.
Scary.
How does the word childcare make you feel?
It makes me feel sad. That's really the crux of it. It's not childcare. It's kids ministry.
Yep.
There are times where we offer childcare in this building. Like if we're having a training and a meeting. For certain
events, we offer childcare.
Yes. And that
it's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. Yep. This is kids ministry. We are being extremely thoughtful about what is happening in those classrooms to teach and equip the kids and to help them build a relationship with each other, with the church, and with the Lord.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, don't call it childcare.
It'll make me sad. Or children's.
Well, yeah, that's
a tricky one.
Yeah.
But KidsMin. We
KidsMin.
Don't have a Z in it. A lot of people have like kids with a Z.
Well, yeah, it's not the 90s anymore.
It's not the 90s anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which is fine. I don't need that.
Yeah.
Okay. Future vision for nursery and early childhood.
Yeah, let's talk about this. What's the future vision?
The future
what are we
vision.
hoping for?
Well, we really want to focus on the fact that we only get to see these kids on a Sunday morning. Sometimes we get to engage with them in other ways, like Awana. But typically, we're seeing them on a Sunday morning. And then our job, in addition to running great ministry on Sunday, is to equip parents to be able to carry over discipleship in their home, because they are going to be the primary disciple makers of their children. They are the parents that the Lord has given them, parents, the guardians, whoever is responsible in caring for these children. That is their responsibility, to be discipling their kids. But we don't want to be like, good luck. We want to give them quality resources that are going to be gospel-centered and have really good theology. We have a page on the website for kids ministry, and in that there is a resources section where it's like, I have to buy my kid the Bible that has all the words in it, not a children's Bible. What should I get? What's recommended? We have recommendations of like, hey, this is a great one for early readers. And we also want to have them carry over what they're learning in the classroom so that it can go forward too.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, your job, like the way I view your job or Gwen's job, is not to disciple all the kids.
Right.
Or even to just disciple the leaders who disciple all the kids.
Yeah.
It is to build into families and equip families to be able to disciple their kids.
Absolutely.
And to partner with them in that, particularly on things like Sunday morning and things like that. Yeah. So, okay. Second, from a vision standpoint, we really want a strong investment into the ministry from the church, from the adults in the church.
Right.
One of the things we're very passionate about at High Point Church is having a multi-generational ministry where the different generations serve each other with their gifts. We believe that older folks or adults have something to give to the younger generation.
Absolutely.
And that they should be doing that. That for us to pass on our faith, whether you're a parent or not, part of your role in the church is to pass on your faith to the younger generation.
Yeah.
And so we see that, and we actually believe it works the other way too, that kids have something to offer to our church that adults don't.
That's true.
And that it's actually in the serving of that you receive some of that benefit. But yeah, we say when we do child dedications, oftentimes, I'll often say, people say it takes a village to raise a child. I disagree. It takes a church, right? We all agree together as a community when we do child dedications that we will participate in the raising up and the equipping of these families to raise these kids in the wisdom and the instruction of the Lord.
Yeah, KidsMin is a pretty tangible way that you can participate.
Kids ministry
in that.
is by far probably the most tangible, easy, low-hanging fruit way in which you can do that.
Absolutely. We would love to see more multi-generational volunteers in KidsMin And we're really encouraged when people come. They're like, "Hey, I haven't like hung out with babies in a long time." It's like, don't worry. It's like riding a bike. You're going to be fine.
Well, and some of this too is like, as a pastor, I get excited about this because to have like, say, a college student serving alongside someone who's retired,
can't beat that.
Serving a 3-year-old, like that is so beautiful in the multi-generational nature of the church. And that relationship that then forms between those teachers, between that college student and that
you're gonna
grandmother.
Meet people that you're like, you're like,
oh my gosh,
met.
this is right. And it actually creates deeper community in the church by serving together. You're serving these people, you're doing this thing together. And so
that's very, very cool.
And so we really do want people like of all generations serving so that this is one of the places, like small groups, like other places in our church, where you can rub shoulders with people from different generations, different life stages, different ethnic backgrounds, different like the true diversity of the church where everyone brings their gift for the glory of God, for the building up and the edification of the church.
Totally. Yeah, that's great. We looking forward, things that we want to try and do better in early childhood.
Yeah, we're always looking to improve.
We're always looking to improve. More worship. We recently had Laura Knox traveling around with a guitar during second service, leading
Laura's
all of the kids in worship.
Director.
Yep. And it was the highlight of children and adults experience in a long time. So we're looking to have more worship that is not just the speaker and one of us as teachers doing the motions up front, but it's always fun when someone brings an instrument. So we'd like to do more stuff with worship. I would like to see more dress up and props in storytelling and maybe revive puppets, but I'm not really sure that's going to happen. But dress up that's also low hanging fruit. And I also encourage, you don't have to be the one to wear the crown for this dress up about King David. You can give this to a child and they can stand up and be King David with the crown.
My kid did this in preschool last year and he literally was almost a year, it was 11 months ago.
Still talking about it.
Still talking about that time he got to be. It
was magical.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And then messier crafts. But as summer comes, my opportunities for this are greatly expanded because we can take kids outside for messier crafts. I'm all about a mess. I've got a couple of boys. I grew up in a big family. I'm ready for a paint disaster. So, I'm looking for messier crafts. I don't know if everyone else is looking for messier crafts, but that's on the horizon.
They're fun though. They're fun.
Come on.
They're fun. They're memorable.
If you're serving in KidsMin, don't wear your favorite outfit anyway.
Yeah. And so I would encourage you, if you are a creative type, whether you're kids ministry is such a good place to serve. Yeah. Because you don't have to be an expert.
Our 3's teacher, she's a scientist.
Right.
Anytime I have an experiment, she's like, we're doing it.
We'll do an experiment.
We're doing it first.
Well, there's a force teacher who's an engineer type who just builds stuff, comes up with crazy ideas and crafts and
the fall he's like, I'm gonna be late. I forgot the Ark of the Covenant in my basement.
He just builds a model Ark of the Covenant and brings it it's that kind of stuff. It's and I love that because it's those
great.
people using their unique gifts to serve the kids in our church.
Great.
And so maybe you're an aspiring guitarist, but you're not that great yet.
They're going to think you're amazing.
They're going to think you're amazing. The 3-year-olds are going to love you and they will not care if you're out of tune. Yeah. And so if you just like to sing, but maybe you're not talented enough to get up on a stage in most cases.
We need someone with a harmonica.
Here's a stage. Yeah, there we go.
That'd be cool. One man.
If you could play the kazoo well,
that's true.
That would be a real big hit.
That'd be a real big hit.
So try to think strategically and creatively about the gifts that you already have.
Yeah.
And how you could apply those to kids ministry. Sometimes kids ministry is this, and then I have this in my day job. It's no, you actually could there's for a lot of stuff, you could bring this into it. It would make it way more fun, way more exciting, and way more fun for you as someone who's serving.
Absolutely. Well, great.
Cool. Any last things to say, Bethany?
I don't think so. I feel like we've busted all of the myths. We've talked a lot about early childhood. Nursery is a little bit different in that there's less crafts and stuff because the babies are smaller. But the heart of the ministry still remains, that we are, even from a young age, we're here to equip these families.
Yeah, and even with little babies, you're not doing childcare. You're doing kids ministry. You're teaching them they belong in the church, that they're safe here, that God loves them, that tangibly in the way that they can understand love.
And we're praying over these kids every single week.
Praying over them.
You drop your baby off at that counter, you can pick them up knowing at least one volunteer has prayed specifically over your child.
Yeah.
So
it's awesome.
So good.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. We're glad that you could be with us. I hope you'll get involved in kids ministry in one way or another.
Yeah.
And we will be back with more kids ministry podcasts coming soon.
True. All right. Thanks.
All right. Thanks for listening.